Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nithyananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome you all to this Bhagavadgita course. So today we will be discussing Chapter 9. So the speciality of this chapter is, this is this chapter which talks about Bhakti Yoga, and it is said to be one of the important chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And because it speaks about Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga, that is the reason this chapter is correctly coming in between. Totally, if you see 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 chapters speaks about Karma Yoga, and the last 6 chapters, that is from 13 to 18, speaks about Jnana Yoga, and the middle 6 chapters speaks about Bhakti Yoga. And since Bhakti is the crunch, the very essence of Gita and the topmost of all the process, that is the reason it's coming in the center. Whichever you see anything in this world, whichever is very, very important, that is always, that holds the center place. When you take a photograph with a group of people, the very important person or the very the VIPs or the very important people will be made to stand or sit in the between, in the center, right? So like that, this, and especially this chapter 9, it speaks about, the chapter is called as the most confidential knowledge. The name of the chapter itself is very clear, or it is also known as Raja Vidya. So if you just after this class, if you go towards this book counter, you will find a book which is written by Prabhupada, and the book's name is Raja Vidya, or the King of Knowledge. It's a beautiful book. You all can actually purchase, buy that book and start reading. It's a very small book, but very, very nice book. Anyways, this chapter is called as Raja Vidya, the most confidential knowledge, and it has 34 shlokas totally, and based on the different topics of discussion, we can divide this chapter into 4 sections. So first section is from shloka 9.1 to 9.3, the first 3 shlokas. It speaks about the qualification to attain knowledge. Of course, we'll also be seeing what it means to say the most confidential knowledge, or Raja Vidya. Why is it called the most confidential knowledge? And also the qualification of one to attain this knowledge. Yeah. We'll go to shloka number 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam Tude Guhyatamam Pravakshyami Anasuyave Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam Yajnatva Mokshase Shubhat. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence." So, your Krishna says, Arjuna, because you are not envious means jealousy, because you are not jealous or envious, I will give this knowledge to you. So now this is the first qualification to attain this knowledge, which means one has to not be envious. Envious of whom? One should not be envious of the Supreme Lord. Now, we may get a question, is it possible for someone to become envious of the Supreme Lord? Okay, envious of my friend or envious of my neighbor, that is understandable. Is it possible to become envious of the Supreme Lord? Yes, definitely it is possible to become envious of the Supreme Lord. We have evidences from the Shastras, right? The Shishupala was very much envious of the Lord. He went against the Lord. Ravana was envious. Kamsa was envious of the Lord. So it is very much possible to become envious of the Supreme Lord. A very practical example what we can see is, in nowadays, in this modern days, what we see is, there is fight between own father and son. There is fight between siblings in the name of, when I say fight, it is not the normal dog cat fights which happens at home. There are real fights in the name of land, in the name of money. There are father and son duo stepping inside the court just to fight it out in the court for all these issues. At one point of time, the father or the son, they wouldn't have even thought that I will be fighting out with this person, because he is my father or he is my son, they are my own siblings. Why should I fight with them? Right? None of us would have thought it. But when a stage comes in the life, at certain point, due to different circumstances, we even fight with our own. The very own people whom we thought that we will never fight, they are all our own blood, but we end up fighting with them. Sometimes we see in the news, son kills his own father or mother just for the sake of land, money, siblings. There is a fight between siblings. So if that is possible, it is definitely possible for us, very much possible for us to become envy of the Lord as well. That is why Krishna here says, it is the very, very important quality of one to attain this supreme knowledge is that he should not be envious. Now, what is envious? No, envious means unable to tolerate or accept when someone is doing great than us, someone is doing better than us. It is kind of intolerance when we see someone is doing things. Oh, this person is very intelligent, he is nice educated, he is earning a lot of salary than me. Or this person, maybe a person who is in the music field, we might think, oh, this person is a better musician than me, he sings very well, or he is very mastery in the musical instruments. Or in a sports field, somebody might feel, oh, this person plays better than me, how can he, So this way we start feeling we are intolerant, and we are not able to accept that somebody is above us or somebody is better than us. And over a period of time, we start feeling hatred towards that person, right? And we start finding fault within them. We try to put them down in all these situations, right? So gradually what will happen? There is again a tug of war. If you see, this is the very reason why we are in this material world. We all know that we are all part and parcel of the Lord. We are all Jivatmas who are Amshas, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And originally we were all with the Supreme Lord in this planet along with Him. And this very reason of envying, whom did we envy? We envied the Supreme Lord. Oh, how come the Supreme Lord is so powerful and enjoying so much? Why don't even I become like the Supreme Lord? Can I also become like the Supreme Lord? Can I also enjoy like Him? Can I also become independent like Him? So like this, we, due to unwanted desires and started feeling envy of the Lord. That was the first downfall. That was the very reason of our downfall. And that's the reason Lord, He created this material world. Okay, there is a free will for you. You go and enjoy. That's the very reason we are in this struggling in this material world. When we say struggling, what is a struggle? Like we discussed in the last class, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, in the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. So Janana Marana Chakra, it's a cycle again and again, again and again, again and again. Millions of lifetimes. Actually, Buddhism says, if you look at the number of lifetimes that you have come through, your soul, we all know what is the size of our soul, right? We discussed in chapter 2. It is if you take the tip of the air and if you divide it into 10,000 parts, that one part is the size of our soul. And if you keep on adding all those sizes of the soul, the number of souls, it can cover the entire sun. It can, if you can take the number of lifetimes that you have taken in this, you have come through, it can actually cover the entire sun. So much lifetimes we have taken. We are struggling again and again. Anyways, the point is that, so we wanted to be independent, and that's the very reason for our struggle. And so our first qualification to attain the Supreme is to correct it, that is to become non-envious. So how to become non-envious? It is when one takes to the process of devotional service, one becomes non-envious of the Lord. Shloka number 2. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshavagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It's the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is a perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. So Krishna here says, what is this knowledge about? He says it is the king of education. So when you say knowledge, there are two types of knowledge. One is the material knowledge and the spiritual knowledge. The material knowledge is the knowledge which we gain through our material education. Like we study physics, chemistry, mathematics, sociology, science. The knowledge which we gain through our education or the knowledge about this material world is basically the material knowledge. They basically teach about this body, right? When you take science, biology and zoology, they speak about the human body, the body of animals and plants. So this is material education. And the second type of education is the spiritual education, which teaches about the Supreme Lord. Now, out of these two knowledges, the spiritual knowledge is said to be much higher. And the spiritual knowledge has 3 degrees. There are 3 degrees of knowledge in spiritual knowledge. First one is the knowledge which talks about the soul, the Atma. Do you see anywhere in this material world they teach about Atma? We have studied right from nursery to 10th standard. After that we have done our degree, whether it is engineering or medical or whether it's commerce or arts. Do we see anywhere they teach about Atma? They just teach about the anatomy of the body and other things, but nobody touches this concept of soul. And that is where Bhagavadgita very detailedly explained the chapter, in the 2nd chapter, about soul. So that knowledge which teaches about the soul and differentiates the knowledge of soul from the body is called as confidential knowledge. This is called as confidential knowledge. Now, is there something above confidential knowledge? Confidential knowledge means it is very rarely attained, which is very special. Now, is it the end? No. Above confidential knowledge, there is something called as more confidential knowledge. Now, once we have studied about the soul and the difference between the body and soul, the next level is to study about the relationship between the soul and the super soul, which means to study about the relationship between us and the Lord. So that knowledge which teaches the relationship between we, the living entity, and the Supreme Lord is said to be more confidential. It doesn't stop there. There is something called as most confidential. We have studied about soul. Then we have studied about the relationship between the soul and the super soul, which is Krishna. And the third, which is the most confidential knowledge, is to study about the Supreme Lord, to study about the devotional service, which means to study about the bhakti. This is said to be the most confidential knowledge. And that is why this chapter is called the most confidential knowledge, because it explicitly speaks about bhakti or devotional service. And that is why this knowledge is also known as the king of knowledge, Raja Vidya. So that is why I'll just read out the translation once again. This knowledge is the king of education. Yeah, we saw the reason why it is called of king of education, because it speaks about the topmost topic, which is devotion to Krishna or bhakti. That is why it's called as the king of education or most confidential knowledge. Next it says, it is a secret, most secret of all secrets. Now one may think, Bhagavad-gita is accessible everywhere. And we all know that once you take Bhagavad-gita in 9th chapter, it speaks about bhakti. What is the secret here? No, once we go out in all the bookstores, we will get Bhagavad-gita. Once we read chapter 9, we will get this knowledge. And what is the big secret in this? No? So the meaning of this is, just because of Bhagavad-gita is there, it does not mean we will gain that knowledge. For example, if there is a big box which is filled with pearls and diamonds and rubies, and it's a very big iron box, and it is locked in such a way that you cannot break open that box, and neither you have the key as well. So you don't even have the key to open. Then what's the use of that box? Right? All the gold, diamond and rubies are just lying down there, but one is not able to use it. Similarly, Bhagavad-gita, any Tom, Dick and Harry can just go and recite some shlokas or by heart some shlokas. Just by hearting some shlokas or just by having the book, it does not mean that we will gain knowledge. A lot of people nowadays, when we talk about Bhagavad-gita, have you heard about Bhagavad-gita? Oh yes, I have Bhagavad-gita at my house. Most of them will say that I have Bhagavad-gita at my house. But out of those people, it's very rare that even people have Bhagavad-gita at home. But even among those people, 90% or most of these people will just have that Bhagavad-gita in their showcases or just have it in their puja room. Nobody would have read it. Very, very rare. And Prabhupada says the example of licking the honey bottle from outside. You have a honey bottle or a sweet bottle, and if you really want to taste honey, you have to open the lid, taste the honey out of it. You just keep the bottle, and from outside if you start licking it, oh honey, nice honey, will we get the taste of it? No. So to realize Bhagavad-gita, why it is mentioned here, secret of secret knowledges, is we'll have to try and understand the tattva or philosophy given in that. Just because we have Bhagavad-gita, just because we have access to it and access to chapter number 9, it's not going to give us the knowledge. And how do we get that knowledge? It is by the mercy of the spiritual master, Guru. Only an expert who has already understood what is God consciousness can guide us, can teach us, because he has experienced it, because he has learned it from his Guru. And that Guru has learned it from his Guru. Like this, the disciplic succession is passing, and ultimately it is coming from Krishna. Right? So that is how this knowledge has to be received. It should be received through a proper parampara. We call it as Guru parampara or disciplic succession, in a proper lineage. If somebody says that, okay, even in our normal material education, if somebody says, okay, I have the textbooks, I have access to textbooks, I will just go and study it on my own. Will it be useful? Yeah, to some extent that person might get a knowledge. But if he has to be really, a textbooks can only give you knowledge. But then when you have some doubts, a textbook cannot teach you. For that you need a teacher. The teacher is the one who will come and guide you, clear all your doubts through your previous exam. And you go to a school, authorized university, and that is how you get degree and get passed out, right? So similarly, even the spiritual knowledge, that is how it has to flow, right? That is why it is called as secret of secrets. That is why it is called as the secret of secrets and the most confidential knowledge. So that's the reason we will have to receive this knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master or Guru. Next point, what he says? He says it is the purest knowledge. What does it mean by purest knowledge? Now, there are many pure things in this world. Some of the things are pure in nature, but some other things are not only pure in nature, but they also have the capacity to remove all the impurities when something else comes in touch with them. For example, milk. Milk is very pure in nature, we all know. But the moment you add or mix something in the milk, the purity is gone. It can be whether water or something else. Whatever you mix, you pour a drop of ink, the entire milk is gone. You cannot say, okay, only this portion I put ink. The purity of the milk is gone. So this is, milk is pure, but then when something mixes with it, the purity is gone. This is first example. And there are second, where it is not only pure, but it can turn anything into pure when it comes in contact. For example, fire. Fire is said to be very pure in nature. That is why in this homas, yagnas, everything they use fire. It is said that fire is not only pure, but anything which comes in contact with fire, the fire will make it pure. That is why we have, for example, in Ramayana, when Sita was abducted by Ravana, and when Ram fought the war and he saved Sita, before he could call Sita, he said, you have to do a Agni Pariksha, you will have to prove your chastity, you have to prove that you are pure, so you have to do your Agni Pariksha. Right? Those days they used to do. Even in today's the homas and yagnas, all the ingredients are added to the fire. No, it is a sign of purity, right? And not only that, even today you see this, all these ores, we get a lot of iron ore, magnesium ore, gold is found from underground. And when it comes, when it is found, it is not in the pure state. It is all in the ore form. It has lot of impurities. And how it is purified? It is purified with the help of fire. That's the potency of fire. Now, Bhagavadgita, or this knowledge of devotion which is given in the Bhagavadgita, is compared to that fire. It is not only pure, anyone who comes in contact, comes in touch with this knowledge, they also become very pure. All their impurities are removed, or in other words, all their sins are removed. This is what is called as pure knowledge. And how it purifies? It purifies us from three things. The first one is, it purifies us from all these sinful reactions which we have committed in millions of lifetimes. Not only it clears us from our sin, but also it clears us from our sinful tendency. Now, what is the difference between sin and sinful tendency? Can anyone answer? So, for example, if we have done any papa or any wrongdoings, we commit sin. That is called as sins. Now, then there is a sinful tendency also. Sometimes, it is said that the Shastra says that once we go to the Ganges, all the sins get washed away. Yes, that's true. All the sins get washed away. But the sinful tendency does not get washed away. What is the sinful tendency? The mindset to do sin. We will be planning, right? We saw in one of the chapters, thinking, willing and acting, feeling, thinking, willing. We plan that, okay, we have to, something gets into our mind, we get disturbed, and then we plan and try to execute that mischief things. So this is the sinful tendency, right? So this knowledge is so powerful, it not only cleans your sin, but also cleans you within the heart, within your mind, so that even the sinful tendency, your thoughtfulness to create or to commit those sins will be washed away. So that is what is sinful tendency. And third one, it will also purify us from ignorance. The ignorance is the very reason that we are all away from the Supreme Lord. Everyone in this material world is very, very ignorant in nature. That is why that ignorance is which is keeping us away from Krishna. So it also clears us from ignorance. Okay, so now what is that? We saw what is pure, it is the purest of knowledge. And here it says it also gives direct perception of the self by realization. So it's a direct method. In one of the chapters we saw direct method and indirect method. Direct method is something which will take you directly to bhakti, and indirect method is you have to go through all the process like karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, right? You have to go through all these religious activities mentioned in the Vedas. This is indirect method. So what it is said here, this knowledge of bhakti, it's a direct process because it will take you directly towards devotional service. By doing devotional service, you can attain the Supreme Lord directly. That's what it is called. And then it is a perfection of religion. Because it teaches, why it is a perfection of religion? Because it teaches the subject of soul, right? Because it teaches the relationship of soul, and because it teaches about the soul and the relationship of soul to the Supreme. That's the reason it is called as the perfection of religion or dharma. And finally it is said that it is everlasting and joyfully performed. So this knowledge is everlasting. We saw in chapter 1 how this knowledge, in chapter 4, this Krishna says that this knowledge was given much more before. Arjuna, before I could give this knowledge to you, it was given to the sun god Vivaswan. It's just that you have forgotten, but I remember all these activities, and this knowledge is ever existing. It's not just for this yuga, or the great example is this Bhagavadgita was spoken in the Dwapara Yuga, and it is very much valuable now, very much in content now. So that is what it is said by everlasting and joyfully performed. Bhakti is joyfully performed. Right. We will go to next shloka, third shloka. Ashraddadana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Now, this is the second qualification which Krishna mentions. Another this one, those who are not faithful. So, to attain this knowledge, another qualification is to be faithful. One must have faith. It is very, very easy for us to have faith on something which we see. We also saw in one of the chapters, Pratyaksha Pramana. Someone says that I will believe something only when I see. But here the understanding is, it is very important for us to not only believe what we see, but also believe what we don't see. That is very, very very, very important. For example, you take milk. When somebody says there is curd in this milk, is it true or false? It is true, right? But where is the curd? I cannot see it. I cannot see the curd. But the curd is definitely there. We cannot see it. But if we have to see or get curd out of milk, there is a certain process which has to be followed. Right? When you follow a certain process, then from the milk we can extract curd. Similarly, from the curd, how to extract butter. When you take a pure curd, can we see butter in it? We cannot see. But there is butter present in it. We'll have to be little patient, and we have to believe when someone says there is curd in the milk. When someone says, we have to believe it and then follow the process to turn milk into curd. And when we follow the process, ultimately we will be successful in getting the curd. Right? Similarly, even in this devotion, to attain devotion, we will have to have that faith. Even before we see the result, we should have placed faith on something. Just like before the milk is turned into a curd, you had a faith. Even before seeing it, you had a faith that yes, if when I follow a certain process, this milk is going to be converted into curd. Similarly, even before you see the result of this devotional service, you need to have a certain faith. And especially you need to have the faith in your spiritual master who is teaching you, who is giving you this knowledge. And with that faith, when you start focusing on this and start practicing as per the guidance given to you, start practicing on the process to attain this devotion, then ultimately you will be success. That is why we will have to have faith in Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. This is a three triangle which we must always not forget. The three triangle to success, the three triangle to gain knowledge. Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Guru is our spiritual master. Sadhus are the saints and the people who are well versed in this Vedic knowledge, and the Shastras are the evidences from the scriptures. These three are the solid evidences who can help us progress towards devotion. Now going to the next shloka from 9.4 to 9.10. So now that we have understood about the qualification to attain knowledge, next we will understand the inconceivable opulence of the Lord. Inconceivable opulence. Opulence means the powers or the Aishwaryas of the Lord. Shloka 9.5. Nacha matstani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhutabrinnacha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. It is said, translation, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. So Krishna here says some important points. Firstly, he says, everything is created by me. I am the maintainer of all living entities. I am everywhere. I am the source of creation. But I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, Krishna is saying. So I will just read out the next translation as well. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. This is from Shloka 10, 9.10. So Krishna is saying, Supreme Lord is saying, I am the creator, I am the maintainer. It is I am who is maintaining all you people, all the living entities. I am the very source of creation, but still I am not part of this cosmic manifestation, he is saying. Which means he is saying, although I am the Supreme Lord maintaining and creating everything, I do not come under the control of this material creation, is what he is saying. Because sometimes some people interpret this very wrongly. No, they say that Lord has created this, but Lord is also under the control of this material world. So he also is just like normal we living entities. He also is under this control because he has created this. No, Lord says he is not. One good example how we can understand this is, we can consider a founder of a company. Maybe says Infosys founded by Narayan Murthy or any other founder. So this founder of the company need not be or may not be an employee of the company. Right? You see a company, there will be a lot of employees, there will be a lot of managers, some senior employees, senior managers. There will be a CEO also. Now all these people are under the control of that company, or they are subjected to follow the certain rules and regulations of that company. But the founder of the company need not follow the rules or regulations. I mean, there is a timings that you have to come to office between 9 to 5. Now, all these employees within this company are supposed to follow the timings, but the founder of the company need not follow it. He can walk anytime. First of all, he will not even be seen in that company because he is not an employee within the company. He is just sitting as a committee member, or he is just sitting outside and just overlooking everything, all the things. He is not subjected to the rules and regulations. He does not come under the control of the HR department, or he does not come under the control of some other departments within the offices, right? So this is the same example. It's a simple example where we can correlate. Krishna has created this. He is the founder of this material universe, but he is not like we living entities. We are subjected to all the three modes of what are the rules and regulations. It's the three modes of nature. We are subjected to the roles of 3 modes of nature here, but Krishna is not. That is what he is saying, that I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. Yeah. So this is about the inconceivable opulence of the Lord. It is sometimes very difficult for us to understand these things, because the Lord and Lord's energy are inconceivable. It is not very easy for us to understand certain things. That's because we have some limitation. We discussed in previous chapters, right? Our senses are limited. Our seeing capacity is limited. Our hearing capacity is limited. We have imperfect senses. Not only that, we are filled with impurities like kama, krodha, moha, lobha, mada, matsarya, right? Lust, greed, anger, envy. So like this, we are filled with a lot of anarthas. So it's not very easy for us to understand. That's why the Supreme Lord is inconceivable. Okay, so we'll go to the next section from shloka 9.11 to 9.25. It speaks about the non-worshipper. Now there are 3 types of people. One who does not worship the Supreme Lord at all. Second is one who worships only the Supreme Lord. And third is one who worships other than the Supreme Lord. The first one is not at all interested in worship. Second one is he worships only the Supreme Lord. Third one is he worships others but not the Supreme Lord. So we will go to shloka 9.11. Avajananti mam moodha manushum tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Translation: Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Yeah. Here you can see Krishna is being very straightforward. He is saying, Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord. So Krishna says, fools do not understand that I have taken birth in this material world. That when I come as an avatara, when Krishna takes avatara in this material world, for example, Krishna came as Swayam Bhagavan, Sri Krishna in Dwapara Yuga. He came as Rama in Treta Yuga. He came as Narsimha in Satyuga. And there are so many other avatars. He says only the intelligent people will understand that I have incarnated. The fools will not understand. Right? And what will they, generally people what they will think? Krishna, what? He is just a coward boy. Always troubling his mother. He is a chore. He is a ranachore. He always steals butter. He is a normal boy, and he is always behind the gopis. No other work for him. He ran away from the battlefield. So he is an ordinary person. Maybe he has little bit of extra power. He has some super power. He is a superhuman being. He is not a Supreme Lord. So like this, people in general, they don't understand. That is why Krishna calls here them as fools deride me when I descend in the human form. For example, you can see some people, they watch these serials or dramas, and they will, when somebody is going, very emotional scenes are going on, especially the ladies, you can see they will sit and cry. What happened? Suddenly the husband will come home. Why are you very sad? What happened to you? You were jolly in the morning. And he might be thinking maybe she is in some depression, but she will tell that, no, today I saw one serial in that, this villain, he did like this to one person. He shouldn't have done that, right? Or sometimes when they see that that same character who's done the villain role in the serial, when they see it outside, will somebody go and tell, hey, why are you doing? Are you so why are you doing this? Don't you even have little bit of humanity? Why are you going and killing the other person? Do we do that? No, right? So it is very, we know that it is just a drama, it's a play which is rolled. We cannot, when we see the villain in the movie, we cannot slap him or beat him, why you did like this. It's just a role, right? But we human beings, we are all reverse, ulta. Today, in nowadays world, people who are the normal human beings, we consider them as God. But we don't believe in God. Shastras are saying this is the Supreme Lord, but we don't want to believe in Supreme Lord. But sometimes, I mean, in the olden days, we had that famous Ramayana serial. And it is said that when the character of Rama and Sita, when they were walking on the road, people used to fall on their feet. People built a temple for them. Today we can see even for celebrities they are building temple. So people are gone, crack, mad. People, for human beings they consider as God and fall under their feet, build temples for them. But when the actual Lord is there, for them they don't believe. When Krishna comes, they feel that he is a normal human being, just with some human superpower. So that is where we have gone upside down. So that is why Krishna says they are moodas or fools. We will go to shloka number 13. So this is the first who don't believe in the Supreme Lord. Now second is those who believe, those who worship the Supreme Lord. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashrataha bhajanti ananya manaso gnatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So Krishna says on one side there are fools, but on the other side there are intelligent people. He says great souls. Krishna calls a non-believer as Muda and his devotee as great souls, and that great soul here is called as Mahatma. Mahatmanastu mam partha. So Mahatma means great souls. And what is the quality of the Mahatmas? It says in next shloka, Satatam kirtayanto mam yajantascha dridavrtaha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So Krishna here says, in first shloka he says, who is a Mahatma? In second shloka he says, what is the quality of a Mahatma? He says, great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are not deluded. They are fully engaged in devotional service, knowing me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one important quality of a Mahatma is he understands that, or he knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and knowing that he is completely under the protection of the divine nature and he is always engaged in devotional service. He is called as a Mahatma. And what are his qualities? He is always chanting the glories of the Lord. He is with determination, he is always endeavoring, he is bowing down before the Lord, and he is worshipping him with devotion. And whoever does this, he is called as Mahatma. Today we use Mahatma for so many people, right? But the actual meaning of Mahatma is this, right? This is what the Shastra says. What is meant by great souls are Mahatma. Okay. So next shloka 9.25. Yanti Deva. This is the third quality. Those who worship everyone but not the Supreme Lord. Those who Yanti Deva Vrata Devan Pitran Yanti Pitra Vrataha Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja Yanti Mad Yajino Pimam. Translation. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Yeah, so Krishna here is very clearly saying, in the last chapter Krishna gave a difference between worshipping the demigods and worshipping the Supreme Lord. But here he further says that those who worship demigods will go to demigods. Those who worship ghosts will go to ghosts. So here one should not think that, whomever I worship, I will attain the Supreme Lord. That is not the case here. Sometimes this is very clear, right? Sometimes whatever you are thinking the entire day, that is what will come in your dream. You could have experienced this, right? Sometimes you keep thinking on something and it very much comes in a dream. But not only in dream, this is also a reality that whatever we practice throughout our life, that is what our destination will be. We also saw in previous chapter while discussing about death. At the time of death, whatever we antakalecha mameka smaran muktva kalevaram, whatever we think at the time of death, that is what will decide our next destination or next life. Right? And that is where Krishna told, you have to remember me to reach me. And here Krishna says, only if you remember me, you will reach me. If you worship the demigods, you will go to the demigods. If you worship the ghost, there are people who worship ghost also. They go to the ghost. I mean, there is a separate place where ghosts live. And those who are more interested in worship of ancestors, they go to Pitralokas to live with the ancestors. Right? So, all the path does not lead to one place. And the problem with all these places is, like we discussed earlier, these places are also coming under the repeated birth and death cycle. Even these places of demigods, they also are not permanent, they are also temporary. There is birth and death there also. So ultimately, once you live and enjoy with them, you will have to come back again to this material world. So this material world, this earthly planet is like a transit. Anywhere you go in this material world, from Narakaloka to the topmost Brahmaloka, you have to come back again to this material world only. From here only you can go to the spiritual planets. So there are, and to go you need to have a human body as well. So you can just imagine how fortunate we are. We are in this world and we also got a human body. So it's only through this medium or only through this is the transit. If somebody wants to go to US, you have a connecting flight. You have to go to a certain stop, take a flight from there. You cannot say that I will take any flight and I can go to US. No. It will take you to, there is one small movie, right? There is a small boy who goes, his parents goes to a separate place and this boy gets lost and he goes to somewhere else. So like that. And another example is that post office. When you post a letter, write a letter, you have to write the to address correctly. Whichever to address you write, the letter will go to that address only. You cannot write, oh, I will write some address, but this letter should go and reach to the person whom I want to. You cannot do that. There is a path for different thing, right? So similarly, a person who worships the demigods will go to demigods. A person who worships the Supreme Lord will go to the Supreme Lord. And whom should we worship? The Supreme Lord. Does it mean that we should not worship the demigods? No. We can worship the demigods, but in the back of our mind, we should have the understanding that the Supreme Lord is like the root. Krishna is the root, and once you pour water to the root, all the branches, twigs, leaves, everything gets water satisfied. You can worship all the demigods, but with the understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Bhagavan is one. Devi Devatas are many. In our Shastras it says 33 crore. 33 kodi Devargadu. So 33 crore demigods are there. Devi Devatas are there. But Bhagavan is only one. Okay, so this is about the third section. We will go to the last section, which talks about glories of bhakti. It's from it's from shloka 9.26 to 9.34. We'll read the first shloka. Shloka number 26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhakti upahritam ashnami prayattatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. See, Krishna is, now he is explaining what is bhakti, what you can do to do devotion. And from this verse we can understand, I'll just read it out once again. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. So from this point we can understand that practicing bhakti is very, very easy. We just need to, Krishna says, we just need to offer a leaf, flower, fruit or water. Sometimes we are the ones who make it very complicated. How complicated we make it? Sometimes we make it very painful also. We pierce a big, this one, through our mouth, to our tongue. We take big austerities. We do lot of starving. We do lot of fasting for so many number of days continuously. And we then walk on fire. So many things we are with, of course, these are all some good austerities which we will definitely get result. But it is too much painful to the body. It is too much disturbing. No, we will walk on the fire and for next 5 days we will be in the hospital. Is the Lord asking all these things? No. Ultimately it comes to a point where whether the Shastras are saying this, whether the Lord is recommending. The Lord is saying Bhakti is very simple. You don't have to do all these things. You just do what He is saying, 4 simple things. Offer me a leaf, offer me a flower, a fruit or water. However, the main important point in this shloka is the word love and devotion. That is very important. We cannot be mechanical. A lot of people, they think that bhakti means going to temple, breaking some 100 coconuts. This is what is bhakti. Buying some puja items and giving to the Lord. Doing some archana. This is what is bhakti, is what people think. Bhakti is actual love and devotion that we show to the Lord. Does Lord wants money in the undi? Is He dependent on our undi? He is Lakshmipati. Swayam Lakshmi and Lakshmi is residing in His heart, and there are thousands. Lakshmi Sahasrabha Sambrama Sevyamanam. There are thousands of Lakshmi who is ready to serve Him. Is He dependent on our money? No. So He is self-satisfied. He is not looking for how much money we are giving, or He is not looking for our. We generally try to do businesses with the Lord. No, Lord, you do this for me, I will do this for you. He does not want that kind of dealing. He wants pure love and devotion, which is uninterrupted and unintentional. Unintentional means not expecting something. It's just like a love between a mother and a child, or a parents and a child. So the mother brings up the child right from young age. Does the mother think that, oh, today if I feed him a little bit of extra items or give him some favorite food, only then he will take care of me. Only then when he goes to work, he will take care of me. Does the mother think that way? Irrespective of however the child is going to grow up, the mother's love is very pure. Right? And when a baby cries, the mother exactly knows when she has to give food to that baby. Maybe a 1 year, 2 year old kid. The mother knows. Does the baby go and each time remind the mother, you give me food, it is 12 o'clock now, you give me breakfast, it is 8 o'clock now? No. The mother knows when to give what is good for the child, what is not good. Similarly, whether we go and pray to the Lord, give me that, give me this, give me all those materially, asking for material things, whether we go and pray or not, the Lord will give us. He knows what is good for us, what is bad for us. Or all these atheists going and praying, they are all scolding the Lord. They are all scolding the Lord every day. They are all completely inimical. They are against the Supreme Lord. But He is feeding them also. Right? So this is what he means. The word love and devotion. We have to give it with love and devotion. Bhakti does not mean that we have to take, it has to be opulent, nothing. It is as per our capacity. One day there was a poor Brahmana. He was meditating in the bank of, I think, Narmada or Godavari. So this Brahmana was very poor. He was a very great devotee of the Lord. And he wanted to offer some kheer, some sweet rice to the Lord. But he did not have any money. Even through begging, he did not get any money. He was very poor. But what this Brahmana did, still he did not stop there. He closed his eyes. In the mind, mentally he started offering kheer, sweet rice to the Lord. So what he did is, he just sat down, closed his eyes, he went into meditation mode, and within the mind he started preparing. He bought milk, he bought rice, he bought sugar, he started stirring the milk, and he was so much deep into meditation. At one point of time, the payasam is cooked, and he wanted to check whether the rice is cooked or not, and he puts his finger inside this boiling pot to check whether the rice is cooked or not. All this is happening within the mind. He is just visualizing. The moment he put it, his finger got burnt, and suddenly he comes out of that meditation. He opens his eyes, and when he opens his eyes, he's seen that his finger is really burnt. And looking at this, Narayana from Vaikuntha Loka is laughing. He's laughing at looking at his devotee. And the Lord actually reciprocated, which means He has actually accepted his offering. Now this Brahmana, he did not have any money, but within his mind, that was his capacity. Whatever was his capacity, he did service to the Lord. But his service was with love and devotion. That love is a very key point, right? So similarly, this very important shloka, it speaks us that we have to offer. That is why when you go to the temple, they offer naivedya to the Supreme Lord. No, they offer some fruits, they offer some bhoga, naivedya, and that is what they give us prasadam. Sadam, what is sadam? In Tamil, who speaks Tamil here? In Tamil, we say sadam for rice, right? And the same sadam, when it is offered to the Lord and when it comes back to us, it is called prasadam. Yeah. So whatever is the prasadam means mercy of the Lord is added. Prasadam means not just kara pongal, sweet pongal, nothing. Even one, even tulsi leaf or a sandalwood or a flower which is offered to Lord and comes back to us, it is called as prasadam. Prasadam means mercy of the Lord. So if we have to get mercy of the Lord, we have to offer him something. That is what Krishna is saying here. He says, how you have to do devotion? You offer me something, and he is also giving you a direction. He is making process very simple. You offer me just a little bit of water, flower, fruit or leaves. When he says leaves, here it's mentioned tulsi leaves. And when you offer it to me, I will give you my mercy back as prasadam. So this is a very, very simple process. So even in our houses, we really don't have to go. With 365 days, we cannot go to temple. But we have our houses, we have our puja rooms. So what we can do is we can actually start offering. We cannot offer whatever we eat, right? And that's not really possible. But here at least we can start offering what the Lord asks. A little bit, the moment you get up early in the morning, you do puja at the house. When you do puja at the house, don't just show agarbatti and deepa, but along with it, just buy a packet of milk, boil the milk, put some sugar and keep it to the Lord. Bring some tulsi leaves, offer it to the Lord. Keep some water, in the water put some tulsi, offer it to the Lord. And flowers, anyways, you offer it. When you buy some fruits, offer it to the Lord. Before you eat the fruits, whenever you are buying fruits for the house, keep it to the Lord first, offer it and then take it. Then it becomes Krishna Prasadam. What is the difference when you eat Krishna Prasadam and other things? When you eat other things, you are eating sin. But when you eat the food offered to the Lord, you are eating a food which is sinless. Right? That is the beauty and that is the power of prasadam. Now one may get a question. Lord is only giving everything. Then why we have to offer to the Lord? Did anyone get this question in your mind? You are saying Lord only is giving everything. He is the control of the universe. Then why we have to give it to the Lord? This question may naturally come. Again, the answer here is love. It is out of love. For example, in our house, the head of the family is the father, most of the times. And the father is the one who is struggling for the house. He goes to work, he struggles, he gets salary. He is the one who buys the ration. And during the dinner, everyone is sitting at the house and eating, having dinner. The son or the wife will concernedly, out of love, they will ask, did you have food? Will you also eat? Shall I serve you? This is what they ask, right? Oh, he is only anyways buying the ration, everything. He knows to eat. He will prepare and do it himself. Do we do that? No. It is completely, yes, he is the one who is maintaining the house. But it is completely out of that love and affection that a son or a daughter or a wife asks shall I serve you also? Did you have food? That's purely out of love. So it's the same concept here also. Lord is giving everything to us. Again, like I said, Lord does not want your food, leaves, water, flower or this one. He is giving us an opportunity to show our love, because love should be something, right? Nobody can say that, can somebody say that, okay, somebody says that I love some person. He has to express his love, right? Just by saying I love some person, will that love carry any value? No. Any love, whether it's a love between a husband and wife or mother and daughter or a love between the lovers, anything, they have to express it through some action. Sometimes on the special days, on birthdays, we bring some surprise gift and the opposite person feels very happy. Or we express the love by showing some care and affection. Something physical, something action. Because we are very personal in nature. We have to be action oriented. Only then we can express our love. So simply can we say that I love you and not do any action, simply sit quietly? They will say you are simply saying but you are not showing any love. Similarly in devotion also, Bhagavadgita says Krishna that we have to have devotion, bhakti. Bhakti means love to Krishna. Okay, love to Krishna. Simply if we sit and say it is okay. No, we have to show it through action, and that is what Krishna is saying. How do you show it through action? This is how you show it. You offer some things for him out of love and devotion. Right? So this is what this shloka is very, very important. He is also giving us how we can express our love to the Lord. So it is very, very important point, especially starting from tomorrow, if it is really possible. It's very easy. It does not involve a lot of money. It does not take a lot of time. It does not take a lot of efforts. It's very easy. Some milk, some fruits. You offer it and you take it to the Lord. You offer it to the Lord and take it as prasadam. Okay? Yeah, next we'll go to shloka number 29. Krishna says, translation, I am reading it out. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So Krishna here he says, first of all, he is not partial. He is not partial. He treats everyone equally. And at the last he says, but still my devotees are a little bit special for me. Now how do we understand this? Does this shloka make sense? Either he has to say that I am not partial, everyone is equal for me. He has to say and stop there. Or he has to say devotees are special to me. But here he is saying both. He is saying I am equal to everyone. I won't show any partiality to anyone. But still devotees are little bit special for me. I take a little more, give a little more care towards them. What does it mean? Okay, but he is saying I am equal to everyone, right? Okay. Anyways, I'll just give you a simple example. A mother has two children. One children is a very intelligent person, boy, and the second child is little mentally retarded. Is not very intelligent. Okay. Now, because the second child is little bit mentally retarded, the mother's her complete thoughts and her complete this one is towards concentration is more towards the second child. Does this mean the mother does not love the first child? Still, both the children are equal for her in terms of love. What she gives, both these children are equal for her. But she is more looking towards the second child. All her concentration is on the second child because what is the reason? The second child is more dependent on the mother. The first child is independent. He is able to do all his activities by his own. But the second child is not able to do on his own. He is more dependent. He needs help. He is more dependent on the mother. This is what happens here. As the devotees of the Lord, we are more dependent on the Lord. We don't do things on our own. Although we might be intelligent, we are more dependent on the Lord. Because we are more dependent on the Lord, although even the non-devotees, atheists are also the Lord's children, still we are special to Him. That is what the shloka means. Clear? Shloka 30 and 31. Lord says, even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Look at the merciful nature of the Lord. In the previous shloka we saw, just like the mother's attention is towards the child which is more dependent, the Lord is, although he is not partial, he is much more concerned and is showing attention towards the devotees. And in this shloka he says, my devotees, sometimes even if they do abominable actions, which means even if they commit sinful activities, still he is said to be saintly. So Krishna is saying sometimes devotees out of ignorance or sometimes they commit sinful activities, but still he says that is okay because he is a devotee, I will give him a chance. And he says, he gives a guarantee, my devotee will never perish. Declare it boldly. He says Arjuna, Krishna is not declaring here. He says Arjuna, you declare it that my devotee will not perish. What is the reason? He says Arjuna too. He is saying the entire shloka, but the last part is saying, Arjuna, you declare it that my devotee will not perish. Anyone? No?
Sometimes doesn't keep his promise.
Krishna might break his promise. He said, I will never fight, I will never take weapon. But when Bhishma Dev came, he took a weapon to attack Bhishma Dev. So Krishna might break his promise, but he will not break the promise given by his devotees. So because he holds the devotees much higher and closer than himself. That is why he says, Arjuna, you say. Sometimes devotees, and this is just like, sometimes there are in a classroom of students, sometimes there are very good students who are very, very disciplined, and rarely and occasionally they commit some mistake. And what the teachers will do? Most of the time, they will not punish that student. They will say that, okay, he is a very good boy. First time he has done some mistake, or he is very rarely done mistake. Let him not say. He say that, hey Baba, you are generally a good boy. Please don't commit it. So I will not punish you. Like this the teacher does, right? Correct, no Mataji, teacher? You do it, right? Yeah. So we have a Mataji who is saying that is true. So similarly, that is what Krishna is saying. Sometimes my devotees commit sinful actions. But he will think, oh, this devotee, he chanted Hare Krishna, he attended Bhagavadgita 18 courses, he followed Ekadashi, he read Bhagavadgita, he fasted on Ekadashis. Like this, Krishna will remember, Swalpam apiyasya dharmasya, Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate, Swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even little bit of service you do, Swalpam, Krishna will never forget. That is what he says by the shloka. And the last verse, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evasyasya yuktyavam atmanam mat parayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. It's a beautiful shloka. Do you know the speciality of this shloka? Anyone? This is the only shloka which is repeated twice in Bhagavad Gita. It comes here in chapter 9 and in the last chapter, 18th chapter also it comes. The reason it comes is again because the point which Krishna is stressing here. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. He is saying always think of me, become Krishna consciousness, become my devotee, become my bhakta. Offer obeisances to me, which means offer namaskaram and do service to me, worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me, he says. Krishna is giving a guarantee. Sometimes we are, like I said, we believe in so many things. We believe in guarantees which is given by outside company, but we will not believe in guarantee given by the Supreme Lord. Oh, we buy something. What is the warranty, sir? Warranty is for 2 years. Oh, 2 years, sir? Okay, fine. Nice. We'll take it. We just believe on that packet will be returned. 5 years guarantee. Return warranty. We just believe. We don't even know who has written that. We don't even know for what sake they have written it. Whether it will come or not. Oh, on the box it is there. So I will buy. But here Krishna is saying, Bhagavadgita is Krishna's song. It is the instructions which has come from his mouth directly, and he is giving a guarantee. So we have to surely believe in the guarantee of Krishna. So that is the reason this shloka repeats twice, and this is what is called as Raja Vidya. Other knowledge can give us name, fame, money, so many other things, but this is the only knowledge which will take us closer to Krishna, and that is what we have to aim in our life. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Prabhuji, you told that Kamsa was envious of Krishna. So at present, how can anyone be envious of Krishna?
Yeah, like at present there are so many atheists. They don't believe in Lord. They don't believe in God. They will say that where is God? Why should I believe in God? I am the controller. Especially a lot of scientists, they don't believe in God. They think that all this entire material world is just a combination of chemical reactions. Nothing is. Where is the hands of the Lord here? Where can I see Him? And sometimes when they see that the Lord is being glorified in the temples or in some pujas, they completely go against. They don't believe in. And not only that, in this material world, that's what in the beginning of the class I told. We all were envy of the Lord. That's the reason we are here. That were the envious nature. See, any other things you can use it in Lord's service. For example, anger. Anger you can use in the service of the Lord. One great example is Hanuman. Hanumanji, Anjaneya Swami, used anger in the service of the Lord. When Rama left Hanuman to check Sita and come, he goes to Lanka, and there he fights, he sets fire to the entire Lanka. So that angry mode he is able to use in the service of the Lord. Like that, even lusty nature, lusty means desire. Instead of having desire in all these material things, we can start loving the Supreme Lord. That also can be used in Krishna's service. Greed can be used. Instead of greeding for too much of material things like collecting lot of money more than required, lot of other things, instead of becoming negatively greedy, we can become positively greedy. Like we can become greed in bhakti, devotional service, that I want to do more and more. Like this, if you see, each and every negative things we can use it positively, but this envy is one which you cannot use in Krishna's service. It is very dangerous. Because envy is envy. The moment you become envy, not only about Krishna, even the moment you become envy of anyone else, it is not a very good quality. The moment you become envy, you won't be able to appreciate anyone, even if he is doing good. And one of the easiest way to come out of envy is practical things is that you can start appreciating that person. Even though internally you might feel envious, but as a practice, even if it is mechanical in the beginning, you can go and appreciate, show some good words to that person, that it's really nice you have done that. No? And make friends with that person, become close to him. Now, especially among devotees, when you feel envious, it is said that you call him to house, feed him nice Krishna Prasadam. Or the main thing is you start appreciating him, appreciating the good qualities, looking only the good of them. So that way you will stop. But to answer your question, there are many. That's what in one of the chapters we said that Krishna himself said, Manushyanam sahasreshu kashyat yatadi sade. It's only among thousands of people, only one come to me. Most of the people in this material world are non-believers. It's only very few people. You people are the very few gems who are sitting here. So it's not, and rest of the people outside this world, and we all know on being a Saturday evening where they would be, right? I don't have to tell. You all know where or what all different places they are there. So we might think, oh, am I missing on something? No, definitely we are not missing on. They are missing something. We are the ones who is. Diamond is very, very rare. It is found only in few shops. You take this iron, brass, copper, even gold, there are so many shops. So we all of us have come here to the diamond showroom. So we are the real lucky ones, fortunate ones. Okay, so there are envious people. Any other questions?
So, firstly, the term religion and dharma is interchangeable.
Religion and?
Dharma is interchangeable. So, does it mean the same? What words?
Okay, dharma is religious activity. Religion asks, what is actual religion? Religion means knowing. The actual religion of a human being is knowing who are we, who am I, who is God, and what is the relationship between me and God. This is what is called as the actual religion. When we talk about any religion, it should speak about these things. Who am I? Who is Lord? And what is the relationship between me and Krishna? And this constitutes, based on this foundation, this is what is set as religion. Now, based on this tattva, whatever religious activities we do, that is called as dharma. Whatever religious activities, for example, the Shastras, Vedas says, we discussed a lot of religious activities like doing yajna. Now, doing yajna is a religious activity, doing meditation is a religious activity, worshipping deity in the temple is a religious activity, or doing charity or dana is a religious activity, dharma. Being honest is a religious activity, because Shastra says that one has to be very honest and truthfulness. One has to be maintain cleanliness. This is a religious activity. So the activity based on a religion is called as dharma. In English it is called as religious activity. But as a religion, whenever we ask religion, what is religion? Oh, religion, I am a Hindu, I am a Christian, I am a Muslim. What is Hindu? What is Christian? What is this is all just man-made things, any religion for that matter. But what is the actual meaning of religion? To know what is, that is why it says Atato Brahma Jignasu. To find out the absolute truth. Who am I? Who is God? What is the relationship between me and God? I am the living entity, the eternal soul, part and parcel of the Lord. He is the supreme Lord, the maintainer of entire universe. What is the relationship between us? Me being the part and parcel of the Lord, I am the eternal servant. I am the eternal Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nityadasa. We are the eternal servants of the Lord. And the job of the servants is to serve their masters. So we will have to serve our master, who is Krishna. And how do we serve it? We serve it through devotion, what we discussed today. Clear or? Yeah, see what's happening is right now we are just going on the essence of the chapters. We are not going very deep into the subject matters. What we discuss is only essence of the summary of the chapter. So after this 18 weeks, maybe we can have a detailed discussions of going shloka by shloka, or covering some 4 or 5 shlokas in a day, where we try to understand these philosophies, these tattvas much more and deeper. And you will understand. Sorry, in the end of each millennium?
At the end of each millennium, the material world enters into the Supreme Lord's nature, and at the beginning of the world, He creates it. Right?
Yeah.
So does it mean like every 1,000 years, there's a physical retake that's happening?
Yeah, so basically you are talking about annihilation. Destruction. Sorry? This chapter only? Yeah, understand that as the mighty wind. 6 and 7. Okay, O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. Yes, so basically, here Krishna is saying he is the creator, maintainer, and the destruction. So, destruction means pralaya. Basically, there are different types of pralaya. Sometimes at the end of each millennium, so when we say millennium, it is a yuga. So which means after one day of Brahma, right? And actually millennium is, we have 4 yugas: Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. So at the end of each millennium, there is a small pralaya which happens. So which means only the earthly planet will be destroyed, and then it will be again created, and it will be maintained like this. And when the new millennium starts, again all of us will come. And then there is a day of pralaya which comes at the end of the day of Brahma. Now one day of Brahma is equal to Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga's age is 4,32,000 years. Double that, it is Dwapara Yuga's age. Triple that, that is Treta Yuga's age. And multiply it to 4 times, that is Satyuga age. So all 4 you put together, it comes to 43,20,000, somewhere around. So this is one Yuga Chakra. Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, one Yuga Chakra. This one Yuga Chakra into 1000 Yuga Chakra is equal to 12 hours of Brahma. So at the end of, and similarly the next 12 hours is the night of Brahma. So when Brahma sleeps, at the end day of Brahma, there is another pralaya. So which means from the topmost, apart from the Brahmalokas, all the lower planetary systems, it gets washed away, it gets destructed, pralaya comes. And then there is Mahapralaya, that is at the end of Brahma's life. Brahma also lives for 100 years just like us. So then when he dies, then the entire, right from the beginning, Brahma, all the living entities, all of us die, all of us, they get destroyed, destruction. And what happens during this time? It's actually a long topic. I'll keep it very simple because we'll anyways discuss this in our future classes after our summary classes are over. All of us, we go into a sleep state, which means we are still there. Jivatmas are still there, but we are in an inactive mode. So all our Jivatmas, it is actually said that when Mahavishnu breathes out, all the universes are created. And all these activities happens. Brahma is creating, all we living entities are there. And when he breathes in, again all these universes are destroyed and goes inside. So for for our time frame, it is different. For Brahma's time frame, we saw what is one day of Brahma, so many years for this. And Brahma's time frame, all this entire thing happens just within the breath of Vishnu. He breathes in, it gets destroyed, breathes out, it gets created. Right? And when he breathes in, all these material world gets destroyed and it goes inside, and everything goes inside his body. And we all go in that, it's just like our sleep, normal sleep. We all do lot of activities during the day, but when we are at the night, when we sleep, we really don't know where we are. Yeah, of course, sometimes we get dreams and other things. Even the dreams, when you see it, is not a reality. But whenever sometimes you go to just imagine a sleep where you don't have any dreams. It's completely blank, right? You just sleep at night and get up in the morning. You really don't know what happened during that 6 to 8 hours. This is the state of living entities when during the time of pralaya. The moment pralaya happens, everyone is destroyed, he goes into the body. It's kind of a rest state, inactive state. It's little bit of rejuvenating state or whatever. We do nothing. It's just the Supreme Lord who is there. And then again he creates. He is Karnodaka Sai Vishnu. So basically, just to give a quick expansion, from Krishna, Balarama comes. From Balarama, there is an expansion of Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshana and Vasudeva. From Sankarshana, again 4 expansion comes. Second expansion of Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshana and Vasudeva. And from that Sankarshana, Mahavishnu comes. Now, a lot of us thinks that Krishna is the avatar of Vishnu. No, it is actually the other way. Krishna is the original. From Mahavishnu comes, who is Karanodakasai. He is called as Karanodakasai Vishnu, who is lying down in the ocean of Karana ocean. So, which means I spoke to you about a Viraja river, right, which is differentiating between the material world and spiritual world. And this is the ocean where Mahavishnu is lying. From his navel, Nabi or lotus comes, and from that lotus Brahma is born. And Brahma is meditating on the Lord. The Lord gives Brahma some knowledge, Vedic knowledge. He is the first person to receive Vedas from the Lord. From the knowledge of the Vedas, Brahma creates this entire universe. And when I say universe, Brahmanda, one universe will have 14 planetary systems. Top for 7, bottom 6, in between Earth. Right? Lower planetary systems are called as Patala Lokas. And upper planetary systems are Svarga Loka, Brahma Loka, Mahaloka, Tapar Loka, all those things. And in each of this universe, Vishnu expands. That Vishnu from whom Brahma came, he goes into each of these universes as Garbhodakasai Vishnu. Right? And how many universes are coming from that Karanodakasai Vishnu's pores? We all know how many pores are there in our body, right? Millions and millions. From each pores, one universe is getting created. From each pores. And in that universe only Brahma creates living entities. And in that each universe, this Mahavishnu, main Vishnu, goes as Garbhodakasai Vishnu. And from there, once all the living entities are created, inside all the living entities, he again, Garbhodakasai Vishnu comes as Kshirodakasai Vishnu. He goes as Paramatma. Inside all the living entities, inside all the atom, living and non-living. So this is how. So Lord is the primary creator, Brahma is the secondary creator. To answer your question, yes, at the end of each millennium, so whenever there is a pralaya, the meaning is it can be any of these pralayas, like I mentioned. It can be end of the millennium, which could be a small pralaya, or it can be end of the day of Brahma, or it can be end of the life of Brahma. If it is applicable for us, if we are at the certain time, place, circumstances, then we will be merged into the Lord. That is what he says. The entire material manifestation will enter into my nature. Not only we souls, the entire material world, entire creation. That is why we call this material world as temporary. Material world is temporary, but then the material world is real. There is differences between these two things. Which means once it is distracted, again after a certain time, again it is created. So this material world is not false. It is real, but it is temporary. Did you understand the point? Did I answer that point? So that is the time when we go and merge into him. We go into his nature, everything will be resting on his body. And then again it comes out. It's a big science. Maybe I have to go very detailed for you to make it understand. I just put it in a simple terms. Clear? Any other questions? Thank you. Today I just wanted to talk because